Many coaster enthusiasts have ridden some amazing roller coasters. As for me though, not really. I've only ridden 17 roller coasters, which range from meh to hey, that's pretty good. And today, I will rank them up. I'm Calorie Coasters, and you're watching Top 17 Roller Coasters I've ridden.
I'm standing at the edge now, it's about to go down. I'm gonna take it higher. It's time for me to light it, so they can't deny it. Hey, bring that fire. Bring that fire. Bring that fire.
Before we get into the video, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you'll be notified when the next video gets uploaded. Alright, let's get into the list. Number 17. Chenille at Fun Show Amusement. This was my first coaster credit. I was probably 5 years old when I rode this. This is a small, traveling, oval-shaped Wisdom Rides Go-Gator that operates at a traveling fair that has a few stops in Quebec, including my hometown of Drummondville. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't really like this coaster, but looking back on it, I don't know what my judgment for hating this coaster was. It's a pretty simple ride. It just goes in an oval and has zero intense elements. Now, unfortunately, I can't re-ride this coaster since it has a maximum height requirement of 132 centimeters. Number 16. Télégraphe at Megapark. When you build a prototype, it doesn't need to be reliable. It just needs to be good, which is something I don't think extreme engineering accounted for when designing the Cloud Coaster. The Cloud Coaster is a coaster model that combines both roller coaster and zip line, and a prototype can be found here at Megapark inside the Galerie de la Capitale shopping mall in Quebec City. And to be honest, the layout they use for Télégraphe is real boring. It starts with a drop that is trimmed halfway through, followed by a bunch of unbanked turns. This is then followed by the cable lift, which brings you all the way back up to the loading platform. If this was built on the ground, it would be the most boring kids coaster ever. But because they built it on the third floor of this indoor amusement park, it gives some pretty good views. And I like how it goes straight through Zenith, the park's centerless Ferris wheel. But even then, the views aren't that great. If you want better views, just ride Zenith. Also, the name Télégraphe doesn't make sense. Why would you name your suspended coaster after a communication device? Also, Télégraphe has horrible capacity, only seeing one rider per car. Now, I know this wasn't designed to be a traditional suspended coaster, but the lines for Télégraphe are extremely long. Number 15. Marche du Mille-pattes at La Ronde. Speaking of prototypes, we have the Prototype Aerodynamics main mine train. This is a park original from 1967. It is also influential for being the third roller coaster to use steel tubular track, after the Matterhorn bobsleds at Disneyland and the runaway mine train at Six Flags Over Texas. Despite being a nightmare to pronounce for my fellow American viewers, Marche du Mille-pattes is not a bad family coaster. Sure, it does not have very good forces, but it has a nice terrain interaction and a nice head chopper with the Q bridge on the first drop. It also sends you around twice, which is nice. It's a little bit janky and rough, but that's to be expected with an arrow. Overall, not bad for a coaster whose chain lift sounds like a metal caterpillar. Number 14. Thunder Run at Canada's Wonderland. Who could have known that a powered coaster could be this punchy? The launch on Thunder Run isn't as powerful as the launch on Backlot's Stunt coaster, but it has some kick to it. I love how the ride weaves in and out of Wonder Mountain, but there's barely any theming inside. I know there is, but it's very hard to see in the dark. I also love how Thunder Run goes through its layout twice, with the second pass being faster than the first. But outside of the launch, the rest of the layout on Thunder Run is pretty tame, and the laterals are almost non-existent. Thunder Run is long overdue for an update, so Canada's Wonderland, if you're watching this video, make Herman visible again, and for the love of God, please lower the volume on that choo-choo. It's absurdly loud. Number 13. Dragon at La Ronde. Despite coming in at unlucky number 13, Dragon is not a bad coaster. In fact, it's a fun family indoor coaster with some nice theming. In my opinion, the theming is better than the one on Thunder Run. It's more elaborate and more visible. That being said, however, the theming is a bit dated, but it works. I especially love the skeletons holding treasure chests at the top of the spiral lift, the dragon statues in the middle of the ride, and the dragon tunnel at the end in which you go through the dragon's mouth. It makes the coaster much more fun and has an ambience that is very immersive. Number 12. Time Warp at Canada's Wonderland. I really don't get the hate with Zamperla Valaris. Sure, being strapped in a cage in the face-down position isn't the most comfortable position to be in, especially if you're claustrophobic, but the ride itself isn't that bad. Remember when I said in my channel introduction video that I've never ridden a coaster that goes upside down before? Well, that was a lie. Sort of. I wouldn't count the hotline rolls on Time Warp as inversions, especially when all they do is flip you on your back. That being said, I think that Time Warp is overhated and deserves less hate than it does. At least, the name that Cedar Fair gave it is not as bad as the name that came before it, Tomb Raider the Ride. Paramount, can you please explain to us what Tomb Raider has to do with flying? Honestly, if you don't agree and still think that Time Warp is the worst coaster ever, then blame Paramount for putting this in Canada's Wonderland, and maybe blame the Prime Minister for the fact that Time Warp is the only flying coaster in all of Canada. Seriously, do not blame the Prime Minister, it's a bad idea. But anyhow, I think that Time Warp is not as bad as enthusiasts say. Rest in peace. Number 11. Toboggan Nordique at La Ronde. Spinal is right. Wild Mice suck, but no Wild Mouse suck as much as the Zamperla Zigzag coaster. Even the first turn out of this station into the lift hill threw me violently to the side, and the whole ride was just even more painful turns. The drops were decent, but every time it rolls back up into one of those switchback turns, it just tried to flung me straight into the supports. This was a painful experience, and the bobsled theming only makes the ride look even cheaper. Now that Six Flags no longer owns the park, can we just put this one in the trash, please? Number 10. Primeval Whirl at Disney's Animal Kingdom. This was the first ride I rode during my 2019 Walt Disney World trip, and honestly, what a better way to start. I only rode the right side because of reasons I don't remember. This Reverchon spinning wild mouse is the definition of Dinoland USA itself, cheap. And before you start screaming at me in the comments saying, "Oh, but Dinosaur was great," keep in mind I never rode the Dinosaur because I was too scared, so I let my family ride it instead. By the way, rest in peace, Dinosaur. But rest in hell, Primeval Whirl. The experience was just atrocious only because the cars didn't spin. The ride itself though was not as bad as Toboggan Nordique, but without the cars spinning that day, it was not a great ride. And I'm sure that the Encanto Dark ride that is going to replace this thing is going to be a huge improvement. Number 9. The Fly at Canada's Wonderland. No coaster manufacturer does the Wild Mouse better than Mack Rides, and in my opinion, the large park Wilde Mouse Mall is the best Wild Mouse Mall on the market. Based on my experience on the Fly at Canada's Wonderland, I can safely say that this is what a Wild Mouse should be. A decent sized drop at the start and some fun laterals. Unlike Toboggan Nordique, it didn't try to kill me. Instead, it provided a fun lateral-filled experience, made better by the fact that the trims were turned off that day. This is the perfect example of a good mouse, and I'm sure Mickey Mouse himself is looking in envy at this video right now. Number 8. Viking at Sommet Saint-Sauveur. This was my latest crit, as well as my first and only time on an alpine coaster. It was pretty exhilarating. It kept its speed the whole way through, and keep in mind that I rode it once and with no brakes at all. I heard it loses some speed on the final helix, but when I rode it, it didn't. Also, it has some pretty good theming, which is uncommon for alpine coasters. And I'm sure the ride is better at night during their nighttime overlay, which I didn't stay late enough for. Number 7. Electro at Megapark. This ride may not look like much on the surface, but it's actually more thrilling than you think. It starts with a drop in total darkness, which takes you by surprise. It also has some good amount of speed going through it. Electro doesn't really have any good airtime moments, but it does have some laterals on the helix. I've never ridden the ride in the back row, but just looking at it, it seems like the laterals are best in the back. Also, it sends you around twice, which for that drop is actually worth it. And Electro is a good reason to visit Galerie de la Capitale when you're in Quebec City. Number 6. Slinky Dog Dash at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Coaster enthusiasts tend to mock Mac launches, and that's true with Slinky Dog Dash, but the coaster is made for families, so it works. And I love the theming on this coaster, and that's to be expected because this is Disney that we're talking about. I love that Slinky is the train, and that Rex and Jessie are on these Jenga blocks, forming towers which the coaster passes through. And the coaster itself is really charming, but lacks a punch. But it's not trash like Forky would say. And also, on the plus side, you have Wheezy at the end on the brake run singing "You've Got a Friend in Me." And that's nice. Number 5. Backlot Stunt Coaster at Canada's Wonderland. This may be one of the best themed launch coasters out there. Premier Rides really knows how to do a launch, and it shows with Backlot. I especially love the upwards helix right after the launch. It gives some amazing G-forces. I also love the theming. It's fun to pass by these police cars and all those road signs on this coaster. However, that being said, none of the effects work anymore, and I would love if Canada's Wonderland fixed this. Even worse, they removed the billboard. What were they thinking? Canada's Wonderland, paint it back please. But overall, Backlot is not terrible. What a fun family coaster. Number 4. Wilde Beast at Canada's Wonderland. This coaster was rough but not atrocious. For me it was just fine. Despite how good the layout is, it lacked some airtime and laterals. And that's what you want on a wooden coaster. Wilde Beast wasn't a bad wooden coaster, and it was quite enjoyable. The only thing that would make this coaster better is if Canada's Wonderland RMC'd this thing and expanded its layout into Speed City Raceway's plot of land. An RMC hybrid at Canada's Wonderland would work a lot better than what is currently Wilde Beast, in my opinion. And I don't think an RMC hybrid fits in the Kingswood plot of land. Number 3. Monstre at La Ronde. If I had one word to describe this coaster, it would be underrated. Many people tend to hate on this coaster for how rough it is, and I get it, but you can't deny it's iconic. I've only ridden Parcours, and even then I thought it was a decent wooden coaster. As they say, a day at La Ronde is not a day at La Ronde without riding Le Monstre. And this coaster is loved by many locals, and the park is willing to spend millions of dollars on retracks just to keep it updated for generations to come. They love this coaster, and they want to keep it in their lineup. Is it rough? Yes. Does it need to be RMC'd? Maybe. But is it a bad coaster? Absolutely not. Number 2. Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom. When I rode this, I wasn't a coaster enthusiast, and I remember not liking this coaster, hence why I skipped Big Thunder Mountain when we went to Magic Kingdom. But looking back on it, Expedition Everest is a great coaster. It starts off tame with that first section before the lift hill, but the backwards section is amazing. It almost feels like you're thrown into a sidewinder, despite not going upside down. And the drop out of the mountain is also great. Overall, this coaster deserves the number 2 spot. And besides, who doesn't love the disco yay? And finally, number 1. Vortex at Canada's Wonderland. I went into this coaster expecting a chill ride, but it was anything but chill. From the drop to the final brake run, every element on Vortex slapped. There is no bad element on Vortex, though it would be better if it had something to look at the top of Wonder Mountain. But outside of that, everything on Vortex is great. And when you're on the final brake run, it keeps swinging. Believe it or not, this is the best part of the ride. Usually, the brake run being the best part of the ride would be a bad sign, but not in this case. It's just that Vortex has so many intense elements that the brake run is actually made better by the swinging of the vehicles. If the cars didn't swing on this coaster, it would have some horrible profiling. But the fact that Vortex is a suspended coaster, it just slaps. It really makes you feel the grip of Vortex. And I had a hard time saying it on the way down. I may not have ridden coasters like Iron Gwazi, Leviathan, or Steel Vengeance, but the coasters I did ride all hold a special place in my heart. Without them, I wouldn't be the coaster enthusiast that I am today. Every coaster enthusiast starts somewhere. If one thing is for certain, it's that my cred count won't cease increasing. Cause that's what every coaster enthusiast does every time they visit an amusement park. If you liked what you saw and want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications. A like on this video would be appreciated as it helps me against the YouTube algorithm. Thank you all for watching till the end of this video. And until next time, I'm Callaway Coasters, feel the grip of Vortex, and I'll see you all in the next one.